Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is wonderful to see all of your beautiful faces, but to be honest, I need to be using this precious time to dive straight into that good stuff. And to do so, I will be taking inspiration from our school symbol, the tree, and the Westridge English department, who has taught me the significance of extended metaphors. Westridge students are evergreen trees, not to be confused with the lame, deciduous trees who so shamefully drop their leaves every fall. Us evergreen trees are defined by Merriam-Webster as having foliage that remains green and functional through more than one growing season. In other words, we trees retain our liveliness all year round. And we've seen this in the way that Westridge students and faculty have worked incredibly hard these past 18 months in quarantine to adapt and stay optimistic for a day like today to arrive when we are back in each other's lovely company. However, despite our retained greenness, it is no doubt that us trees have been enclosed in a very tight space that is lockdown. Our root networks have been unable to interface with other root networks for quite some time. And so we may be feeling apprehensive about the new school year. As such, I'd like to vocalize my vision for this new year back on campus. I hope that we won't let this apprehension keep us from reclaiming the forest floor now that there are no physical blockades to our interaction. I hope that we all take this opportunity to fully capitalize on interpersonal connection. You should embrace your old friends, for example, but welcome new people too. Forge new relationships, get to know the new students on campus, and don't be so quick to judge one another. We should all just be branching out, no pun intended, wink, wink. After all, we are all just evergreen trees, striving to grow and grow and grow and stay green all year long. And now, it is my absolute honor to introduce our beloved head of school, Mrs. McGregor, to the podium.
Thank you so much, Charisma. It is no surprise to me that your green is even more vibrant since I last saw you. And I think the summer only increased your sense of excitement and your sense of metaphor. Go English department. It's so good to be here with you and to be able to welcome everyone to Westridge, whether you're brand new or returning, and no matter where you might be, watching us from a screen in your classroom, or at home, or even peeking into the gym as we try to imagine you all sitting here in front of us. There is an excitement about joining together for the start of another school year. Before my remarks, I'd like you to learn about the employees who are new to Westridge, as well as a few who joined us mid-year last year. These introductions will be made by Dr. Zanita Kelly, Director of Lower and Middle School, Mr. Gary Baldwin, Director of Upper School, and Ms. Sarah Jallo, Senior Director for Enrollment Management and Student Outcomes.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Zanita Kelly, and I'm the Division Director for the Lower and Middle School. I'm very pleased to introduce new employees to the middle school this year. Darren Brown joins Westridge as a long-term substitute for Rob Green, teaching 8th grade science and STEAM Oceans elective for 7th and 8th grade students. Darren has taught middle school science at Viewpoint School and biology, marine biology, and photobiology at the collegiate level during his graduate studies. Jamie Linton, who'll be teaching 7th grade math, comes to Westridge after 18 years with the San Marino Unified School District, where she taught math, served as a science lab coordinator, and led the Girls Who Code Club. Jamie has an engineering background and before teaching spent many years doing research, development, and clinical studies on cardiac devices at companies including Pfizer and DuPont. We have 3 employees who are not new to Westridge, but new to their roles in the lower and middle school this year. Anna Bondock joined Westridge last year as an upper school English teacher. And this year, she moves to the lower school to teach 6th grade language arts. She is the mother of Claire Sand in the class of 2023. Val Brown-Smith joined Westridge in 2017 as 7th grade math teacher, and this year she is moving to teach computer science, still in the middle school. Emma Ho has been with Westridge for 2 years, working on our food service team. This fall, she's stepping in as interim assistant to lower and middle school. She worked with us over the last year on many of our remote meetings, so she may be a familiar face and name to many of our parents. And finally, we have Tamra or Tam Shahar Jaff, who joined us in January, but wasn't formally introduced to many of you. Tam is the lower and middle school dean of student voices who coordinates many aspects of student diversity work in our divisions, including affinity groups. She is a Westridge alum from the class of 2008 and also a track and field coach. Have a great year.
Good morning, I'm Gary Baldwin, Director of the Upper School, and I'd like to add my welcome to the 2021 Convocation. And I'm pleased to be introducing you to the new faculty members that will be joining our Upper School this school year. First, let me begin with Katie Doctor. Our Upper School Human Development teacher comes to us from Franklin Middle School in Minneapolis, where she taught health and physical education. She holds a BS in Health and Physical Education from Augsburg University in Minneapolis and is currently pursuing a master's degree in education with an emphasis in school counseling from Concordia University. Max Duncan joins Westridge as an upper school English teacher with 17 years of teaching experience in independent schools in the Los Angeles area, including at Crossroads, Oakwood, and Marlboro. He's also an author, a poet, and earned a master's degree in educational leadership and change from Antioch University. Dan Paraka will teach upper school math as well as middle and upper school rocketry. Dan, or Mr. P as his students often call him, comes to Westridge from High Tech High in Los Angeles Charter School, where he has worked since 2010, teaching physics and chemistry and serving as a technology advisor. He was recently awarded the Encino Chamber of Commerce Teacher of the Year Award for 2019-2020. Veronica Garcia Morena will teach upper school Spanish through mid-November while Ms. Ramirez is on leave. Veronica has been teaching at the collegiate level since 2008 and has taught all levels of Spanish language courses. Her career includes posts at Cal State LA, Montana State University, and UCLA, from which she earned a PhD in Hispanic literature. Ronnie Schneor joins Westridge as a long-term substitute teaching upper school art for David Prince until he returns from paternity leave in November. Ronnie has more than 10 years of experience teaching art, special education, and Hebrew in the Los Angeles area and Israel. She is a painter and a ceramicist. And finally, Autumn Rogers joined Westridge in the spring as an upper school robotics teacher. This year, she will also teach computer science. Autumn has a background in software development and earned her MFA in art and technology from the California Institute of the Arts.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Jallo, and I'm Senior Director for Enrollment Management and Student Outcomes at Westridge. It is my pleasure to introduce those who join Westridge in administrative and staff roles this year. Jennifer Gutierrez-Degg has joined us as Administrative Assistant to Enrollment Management and Student Outcomes. Jennifer has been a dedicated community organizer for Westridge, the Pasadena Unified School District, and Oneonta Cooperative Preschool since 2009. Before that, she worked in marketing and event planning at several companies, including Fox Television. She is the mother of Sophia, who is a member of the class of 2023. James Evans is Westridge's Director of Teaching and Learning. In this new position, James will work with faculty and administration to plan, implement, and evaluate the functions of curriculum, instruction, and assessment. He joins us from the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks, where he has taught English since 2003 and served in multiple administrative capacities, including department chair for both the English and history departments. He is the father of Lorelei, a new member of the Westridge class of 2028. Ian Tatum joined us this month as Director of Equity. Most recently, he was a restorative practices facilitator in the Urbana School District in Illinois. With more than 20 years of experience in education, Ian has served as an assistant principal, special education teacher, and teacher leader in family and community engagement. He has served as an educational consultant in the areas of culturally responsive teaching, equitable practices within education, and restorative practices. His face and voice might be familiar to many of our returning families, as he led some of our online DEI sessions last year while in the role of consultant. Vicki Trin, our new school nurse, comes to Westridge from the Brimmer and May School in Massachusetts. Prior to that, Vicki worked in several children's hospitals in Massachusetts, in the NICU, inpatient psychiatric unit, and multi-specialties clinic. I also want to formally introduce two people who joined Westridge last year after convocation. First is Borkan Esso. Borkan has protected Westridge on the weekends from the start of the pandemic. He joins us full-time this year as a contract employee of our longtime weekend security company, Contact Security, to help support campus safety and keeping our students, faculty, and guests safe. And finally, Sherry Johnson joined Westridge last January as a counselor. She has nearly 20 years of experience in therapy, school counseling, and residential counseling. Currently, she is in private practice at Silver Lake Psychology, and her past experience has included working with students at Blair High School and McKinley School in Pasadena and at Glendale Community College. Please join me in welcoming these members to our community.
Welcome back. We've demonstrated resilience and innovation over the course of the past 18 months. And now when I talk with students, faculty and staff, students and parents, I hear such a yearning and excitement to be together. We all want to forge a stronger sense of community and belonging. Some have talked about feeling that they took both for granted in the past. Others have told me that they are thinking about community in new ways. Those conversations about community are at the foundation of my remarks today. The pandemic and so much of what is happening in the world, including climate change, ideological polarization, globalism, racial injustice, and the work to create a more equitable society, have led us to think anew about how deeply our lives as individuals are intertwined with the lives and actions of others. Our neighbors, our schoolmates, and even people living across the globe. We can't do what we most need to do without working together, whether this be on an individual, national, or international level. I know I can't be my best without the love and care and support of others, and seeking to understand views other than my own, even though I was raised in a culture and country that seemed to frown on asking for help or relying on others, and often thought it knew best. In the year ahead, I'm asking us all to strive constantly to base our relationships and community building and actions on interdependence, which will be our theme for the year. Interdependence taps into the concept of goodness that has woven its way through Westridge since its early days. At Westridge, we've defined goodness as a holistic system of living and interacting that is rooted in being aware of how we are all interconnected, not only with each other, but with the physical world in which we live. It's thinking about how our actions impact others, and how when we all come together, we gain a stronger sense of purpose and can make even greater impact, both of which are at the very heart of what we strive to do at Westridge each and every day. I want us to all think deeply about what interdependence looks and sounds and feels like. For me, it's not dependence on another to the extent that you lose your sense of self. Indeed, it takes a strong individual to rely on and trust others. It's to take the time to really see who others are and to be true to yourself within larger groups. And it's more than connection and collaboration. Connection means association, and collaboration means working together, both of which are extremely important. But interdependence is deeper and more enduring. It acknowledges a dependence on others, that a change in one part of a group has a ripple effect across the fabric of the community. Being interdependent means being vulnerable and seeking help and working with others to explore far-ranging ideas and finding better solutions as a result. It's about creating a community of respect that is safe and welcoming for all, where we can bring our authentic selves every day. It's in the way we reach out and work with others in our local community and larger world, and find ways to take on the responsibility to deal with some of the world's largest pressing issues. It's what girls' schools do best for students, helping them develop self-knowledge and relational skills. I see and live this interdependence with the people I work with, who work together every day to help me and our schools strive to be the best that we can be, even during the most difficult times. I see our teachers and support staff working together to plan classes and think about how to take care of our students' social, emotional, mental, and physical well-being, to create a beautiful campus in which to learn, and to sustain ourselves with what I think is the best school food ever. I see it in the incredible relationships that our teachers foster and nurture with our students. I see it in our student leaders, in our upper school peer-to-peer students who reach out to others within and across grade levels, in our upper school student action council, and in our adult and student tech partners. I see it in the students who are mentors to our students from the Pasadena Unified School District who are on our campus for Partnership for Success program during the summertime. I see it in our parent association, our grade level representatives, our board of trustees, our alumni. There's a wonderful phrase that's appeared in Westridge literature over many years. As Westridge changes girls, so girls change Westridge. That really is interdependence. I'm inspired by our students and the way they contribute to who we are as an institution and continue to shape the world when they leave our campus. And so, in the spirit of interdependence and seeking input from our students who always have such powerful and profound things to say, I turned to Charisma earlier this week and asked her to list the characteristics she thinks of when she hears the word interdependence. I then asked her to pick her top 5 and describe what they would be like in practice. And this is what she had to say.
The first trait is vulnerability. Students can demonstrate vulnerability by being transparent and communicative with their teachers or friends whenever they are in need of support or accommodation. Physical isolation over the pandemic often translated into an emotional isolation for many of us, so it is important we once again get back into the flow of being candid with one another. Uninhibited communication is key. The second is to be responsive. Enthuse over your spirit assemblies, your classmates' history presentation, or even something as small as your favorite lunch. Showing your excitement for community events and your interest in those around you truly matters. It is the accumulation of these positive responses that cultivate a more lively and invigorated campus culture. Third is reliance. Westridge students love to sign up for everything in sight. So make sure you cooperate with those around you. Student leaders in clubs, affinities, student life, and more will encounter particularly stressful weeks when large projects are due, or tests from various classes just happen to align on neighboring days, etc. The seniors can step up when it is a particularly stressful month for the juniors, or vice versa. The sophomores and freshmen can do the same. And when student life plans town meetings, for example, there may be times when one group of grade level representatives may need to take a small step back, and another group of grade level representatives can take on greater responsibility. The same sentiment of reliance and support for one another applies for each grade level. And fourth is adaptability. Be empathetic to the unique circumstances that may arise. Spirit assemblies, commons lunches, big and little sister activities, or even class meetings may not look the same as they were pre-pandemic. Adapt to these changes and be understanding for when these adjustments need to be made. And finally, most importantly too, is trust. Trust that your community is here for you. Vulnerability and reliance cannot exist without some element of trust in one another, which is why it is so crucial.
Both Charisma and I wish you the very best for the coming school year and encourage you to think and demonstrate the ways in which individually and collectively we can work together, purposefully, interdependently, to make our community and the world around us more caring and supportive and a much better place to be. As we leave, we'd like to wish you well and to ask you to listen to this beautiful rendition.
Wait. Before you introduce her,
I knew something like this would happen. You do?
In honor of your last 12 years as the head of school of Westridge, the senior class would like to initiate you as our honorary member of the class of 2022.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the Westridge student body, to thank you for leading with example and showing us what it means to be a Westridge girl. Here is a very soft stuffed tiger.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love being at Westridge. I can't think of anything I would have rather have done with my life than the last 12, now 13 years. I think I know what's in here. Woo. Oh. You won't believe this, but I do not have one of these until now. How's that? Isn't that wonderful? So, without further adu, we are going to hear from our students who sing Surgere Tentamus, We Strive to Rise, our school song, on behalf of Charisma, the tiger, and myself. We wish you all a wonderful school year. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Surgere Tentamus, we strive to rise indeed, and may our Latin motto help to spur us on full speed. So in Surgere Tentamus, for Westridge one and all, and in Surgere Tentamus, our watchword and our call. Yet within our Latin motto lies a hidden meaning too, and we strive to